All right, math, chapter 1, lesson 4, 1.4. All right, learning target for this lesson is going to be to use ratio tables. We know what a table is, like a chart, table set up like these two things right here. Use tables to represent, okay, so you're kind of putting things certain places so you can see what they mean. It's representing uh, some information and solve problems. So you want to get the answer involving equivalent ratios. Equivalent, equal, same, same ratio. Okay, and when I want to for ratios, I want you to be thinking about fractions. Okay, like we've talked about in the other lessons. Um, if it's 5 to 6, I want you to think of it as a fraction, 5/6. Okay, um, so that equivalent fractions, all you got to do is like times 2 times 2, that's 10 twelfths. You can see how these are equal, okay? I did the same to the top and the bottom. Once it's a fraction, you can see how it's equivalent. It's the same. It's just a ratio. 5 to 6 is the same as 10 to 12, or 5/6 is the same as 10 twelfths. Okay, if you think of it as fractions, then you're thinking equivalent fractions, which is similar to equivalent ratios. Okay? So, I'm not a cranberry guy. Never liked them. I don't know if I ever will. But who knows? Never say never. If you're going to make some cranberry jam, you're going to need a ratio of so much sugar to so many cups of cranberries. And the ratio is 12 cups of sugar to 16 cups of cranberries. All right? Now, I can find equivalent fractions, equivalent ratios to fill this chart. All right? So, I'm going to 12 and 16. I see that they're both even numbers, so I'm going to cut them in half. So divide each by 2. Divide that by 2. Divide that by 2. Then I'm doing the same to each. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. 16 divided by 2 is 8. So if I want to have a smaller recipe, instead of doing 12 cups of sugar to 16 cups of cranberries, I'm going to do 6 cups of sugar to 8 cups of cranberries. Okay? I do this all the time when I make cookies, make something. Sometimes you need to double the recipe. Sometimes you need to cut it in half. Sometimes you have a recipe for 12 and you're going to have 18 people. So then you need a recipe and a half. Okay, so then you have to find the ratio to that. Now, let's take it a little bit further. Okay, so instead of 8 cups of cranberries, I'm going to have 4. So that's just divided by 2 again. Divide this by 2. It's 3. It's kind of like I'm just simplifying the fraction. So 12 sixteenths is the same as 8. 6 over 8 is the same as 3 to 4. So basically, when you're making cranberry jam, for every 3 cups of sugar, you need 4 cups of cranberries. If this is a single recipe, say that's one recipe, you want to do, or we'll say single. You want to do a double recipe, you have to do double this, so then you have 6 and 8. If you want to do a triple recipe, triple from the single, you gotta go to here, 12, 16. These are all the same, it's just how much do you want of something, okay? Same ratio, equivalent fractions, okay? All right, now let's look over here. Scaling, sometimes you need to take something down to the most basic unit and then to build it up to figure out what it is. You might have something, where's my red? A chart like this that says, okay, I read 30 pages in 10 minutes. Now, I read 45 pages in how many minutes? Okay, I can't just cut this in half to get it there. I need to get this smaller. Okay, so 30 to 10. 30 to 10. All right. So, I could take this down. What if I would take it down divided by 2? I'd have 15. All right. So, if I just would read 15 pages, say I do 15 pages, 5 minutes. Yeah, that makes sense. 30 pages in 10 minutes. If it's half the time, it's going to be half the pages. Okay? Now, I'm going to go up. So 15, how much did it take me to get from 15 to 45? That's an even number. That's times 3. 15 times 3 is 45. Now, if I just times this by 3, I'm going to do the same to the bottom. 15. Okay? So if I read 45 pages, it's going to be 15 minutes. And you can kind of see how that makes sense. If I do 30 pages and 15 pages, if I do those two, that together is 45 pages. And 30 took me 10 and 15 took me 5. So it's going to take me 15 minutes. All right? The other way to do it is to take this to the simplest. 30, 10. I know, so I do my greatest common factor. 10 and 1, 2, 5, 3, oh, those are all the factors. Does 10 go into 10 and 30? Sure does. So divide this by 10, divide this by 10, I get 3 over 1. So it's 3 to 1. 3 pages, 1 minute. Okay? So then I want to figure out 3 pages, I want 45 pages, and 1 times whatever that is. So I have to figure out 3 times what equals 45. 3 times 15 equals 45. So, times 15, there you go. You can take it down to the most basic, or you can just kind of cut it in half and play around with numbers, guess and check, see what makes sense. Always with math, you're always asking yourself, does this make sense? Does this answer make sense? Okay? So you can do it equivalent, where you're going down, or you could go up, but all of these are the same. Okay? And then scaling, where you sometimes need to go down to go back up. Okay? All right, I'm going to do some guided practice with you, and then you'll do some independent practice on your own. All right? Using ratio tables to represent and solve problems involving equal ratios.